Welcome to the Moms That Read podcast. This is episode 9. I'm McKenzie.
I'm Katarina.
And I'm Kaylee. And we are going to be talking to you about our book club book, Quicksilver, which I think is going to be interesting because we have some mixed opinions on it and some
Maybe
hot takes, some fun things to talk about. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about our recent reads. And I have been reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borison.
Love.
It was amazing.
It was so good. I was kicking my feet. So good.
6 stars.
Absolutely.
It's hard for a romance to get 6 stars.
Well, I like romance a lot, but this one was just a feel good, and it felt like
It
the
wasn't
90s.
cheesy.
It wasn't cheesy. It was real life, and it was like a 30-year-old, and it was just great.
I think I love romance, but I feel like it's hard to make them stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, this one was fun.
It was character development on both sides. They both had stuff they had to work through.
She had a male-dominated job, too. She was a mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So it was just fun. It was
was
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I loved it.
I've been recommending it to everybody. I'm like,
Same.
you need to read this. I just gave it to Katarina,
Yeah,
so I'm
I gave my book to
hoping she
Megan,
reads
so-
it soon.
That's
But
awesome. I read The Fifth Wave, which was I pulled from my TBR jar, and it was the first one I pulled. And
You already
I
finished it?
absolutely loved it.
Oh, really?
I ate it up. It was amazing. Watched the movie the day after I finished it.
Oh,
I
what's the
loved it.
movie?
You would not like it.
Okay.
It was
Thank you for
dystopian.
saving me from that.
It came out the same year as like Hunger Games, Divergent.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd like it either, but I think you'd like it more than she would like it.
I like Hunger Games and Divergent and
I
stuff like that, though.
Absolutely could not put it down. I have 2 more over there, and I'm like, do I wait to pull them or do I just read them? Because I
Are they a
loved
part
it.
of it or they?
yeah, no, that's
Okay.
yeah, it's a continuing series. It was amazing. I read it in like 2 days, and it's like 600 pages.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
I
Girl.
loved it. I couldn't put it down. You would not like it.
Oh, wow.
But you might.
fine.
I would probably like it,
I
maybe.
thought it was really good. Loved it.
Well, I'm almost done with part 1 of Air of Fire. And so I'm making my trek through Throne of Glass.
So
It is
nice.
so,
Finish
so
that. It's
good.
the
Like,
best.
I
You're almost there.
struggled. I liked Throne of Glass a lot. I struggled getting through Crown of Midnight because it was just like, compared to Throne of Glass.
yeah, I
but
didn't like it that much.
Air of Fire has been
Wait till the ending.
good.
The big ending.
The only thing is, I patiently wait for Rowan and Aylin's part.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm liking the witch part, but
Is Manon in that one?
Manon, yeah.
Is it Manon?
That's how the audiobook says it.
Oh, I don't like her.
You don't?
No.
I like her toward the end. I did not enjoy her parts when I was reading it, like the early parts.
Well, and
I
she's just
skipped
thrown
through
in
it.
that book, and you don't even know why she's in it.
When it first happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get out sticky notes because there's 3 storylines between, well, actually 4 between
That's the
Kale,
only
Dorian.
reason that Air of Fire was kind of like
It's a
to me
lot.
is because, like I said, I struggle with books like that. My brain does not piece stuff back together like that.
It's
Struggle.
nice, but I really just want to hear Aylin and Rowan's part.
Right.
So you just read those, and you're like,
But if Sarah J. Maas could lay off the amount of descriptions that actually make me gag, I would appreciate that because anytime she's like, someone gagged, I'm gagging too. So thank you because it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Her
That is so
descriptions are
funny.
unnecessary in so many ways.
That's
I
so
agree.
funny. All right, so we are going to reveal our March book club book before we get into Quicksilver. So, are y'all ready?
Drum roll.
I'm looking up a binding snippet.
All right, we will be reading Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh.
excited.
We're excited. We all have been wanting to read this.
I guess
Yeah.
you could say it's like making its way on the book talk scene.
Yeah,
like
I
it's
think it
like
has been for a little
becoming more
while.
popular. It's a pretty extensive series.
Yeah,
But-
it's
It
like-
says it's a forbidden love from
Oh.
where a girl transfers schools and falls in love with the most popular guy, but they hide their feelings because it's forbidden.
I love a good
Interesting.
forbidden love.
I do
Interesting.
love a forbidden
I do
love.
too.
this, you know, Erica with the CK.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you know who that is, but that's
Yes.
that's like her. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, yes.
She's the one.
Wait, the Erica with the CK.
That's literally her handle. She's the first time I had heard about this, and she said she read it in like 2 nights and was obsessed and read them so fast and was like, "You have to read this." So
I'm reading it on my Kindle so I can tear it up.
Yeah.
I'm so
I think
excited.
join our Fable if you want to read that with us.
It was really exciting with Quicksilver because we have like 87 people in Fable now, and people were talking and discussing.
Yeah,
it.
we
It
were
was
having
really
such
cool.
good discussion in there, and it
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, like a little book
It'll be
club.
interesting too with it us going from like heavy fantasy to romance.
Yeah, to
we kind of went the
see-
opposite way last time.
Yeah.
Variation
Well,
of Quicksilver.
and if you're not following us on Instagram, we posted a poll on Instagram where we each picked a book, and you guys ultimately picked our book this month.
Yeah.
So make
next
sure you're following us.
month, Mackenzie's birthday is next month, so she'll be picking all 3 picks.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
we all picked.
Well, and this was Mackenzie's pick, by the way.
Mackenzie's pick.
It was my pick.
But
yeah.
okay,
So
We're
join
all
us
going
on
to be
Fable.
reading the Twilight series.
oh my
1,
gosh,
2, and 3.
please do.
So funny.
Katarina can finally read them.
I'm good.
Oh my God, that's going in your TBR jar.
Oh, please no.
I
it
put a
is.
vampire in
It
her
is.
TBR jar.
I have zero.
It only is because
Zero.
I need you
At
just
the-
to read it.
At the end of this podcast, we each created a TBR jar for each other, so we're gonna be picking.
So stay tuned if you want to see what we pick.
Yeah.
Plot twist, all of your things are going to say Twilight, and that's going to be the first one you pick.
That'd be so funny.
Oh,
Okay. Do we want to
Okay.
start out with ratings? What we rated it?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. I rated it a 3.5. Looking back, now that I've had a little bit to sit on it, I would probably rate it lower and give it a
What?
3.
Interesting.
I did not really enjoy this book. I mean, it was good. The last 30% saved it for me.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy the first 70%, and if it wasn't a book club book, I probably would have DNF'd it.
Well, a lot of people who gave it 1 star DNF'd it.
Now, am I happy though that I stuck it out to the end because I did enjoy the ending?
I
And
also think the
I'm-
next book will have a
Yeah.
lot of.
I'm also
Plot versus world building.
excited to read the next book, but it was not my favorite. I don't understand the hype. I'm not there.
I 4-starred it, but I still. I mean, I liked it, which is why it's 4-star. I didn't love it, which is why it's not a 5-star. It was good.
I loved it.
It was good.
I gave it a 4 only because it took me a solid 50% to
get
get
into
me
it.
into it. But once I got into it, I loved it and I ate it up so fast. But I think people were obsessed with it because of Kingfisher, and that was not the reason I was obsessed with it.
I don't get why people are obsessed with Kingfisher because he's most of the reason I rated it so low,
Yeah, he was
which
not
I
my
know is a
favorite.
very hot take because I need the TikTok universe to please tell me what the heck you see in this man.
Okay, I will say the chapter where he basically goes to rescue his sister by himself, leaves everybody behind, and the letter he wrote to Saris, like, I cried. It takes a lot for me to shed a
did
tear.
not
but
I did
was
not
like,
cry.
And I cry. I think
got me.
that he was so rude at the beginning of the
yeah.
book that I just formed no emotional connection to him at all. And
That's
then
fair.
it carried throughout the whole book because toward the end of the book, even when he started changing and letting his guard down and being nice to Saris and writing the letter and all of that, it was like, that's so sweet. He left to go save them. And then I was like, I don't care if he dies or not.
It's interesting too. I guess there's spoilers at this point, so
Right.
I mean, yeah, if you're
Um,
listening to this is a giant spoiler.
yeah.
So
I think it's interesting that he knew that they were going to be together, and he went into it so negative about it.
But I think it was because he knew what was going to happen because of his reaction to
Pictures
the
and-
Quicksilver,
Oh yeah,
and he knew what was happening to his mind.
But even then, it's literally another Reese and Farrah thing. If you know, tell her and give her a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gave her no choice in that. She had no idea.
yeah.
She low-key got on my nerves. She just was completely obsessed with him from day one.
And never
She
saw.
never hid anything.
I
She
hate
couldn't because he was
insta-love.
kinda fake. It was kind of insta-love. And I was like, there could have been more. I'm going to push him away because he was been horrible to me.
Honestly, there was no reason for her to love him right away. Like
No.
he was awful to her.
He was awful
and
to
yet
her.
she was like, "I'm obsessed with
I
him."
love you so
Yes.
much. And then people talking about it's a slow burn. Like on chapter
It was not a slow
10,
burn.
they was in there making out. Like there is absolutely no way this is a slow burn. TikTok needs to read the definition of slow burn
I will
because
say,
this is not it.
I think people are attracted to the AI creations of Kingfisher on TikTok, which
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely. Look at
Well,
him.
that's how I feel about like Dane.
yeah. I don't
Which
know.
I feel like
just
he doesn't actually look, because then you see this and I'm like,
This
he
is
looks
the
like
most
17.
cringe cover in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
get
I-
I get the tear now that I've read the book.
And I
You
get
know
the
what I mean?
butterflies now
Oh,
too.
I never even
I
thought
didn't
about
think
that.
about that either.
I
The
get it
butterflies
now.
make sense too.
Yeah, they do.
That's
And what was this called? His
The little collar thing that
Yeah.
protected
Okay,
his throat.
I-
like it makes sense.
I
but-
will say I did love his nickname for her,
Osha.
little Osha.
Oh, that was sweet.
Wait, is it Osha? Because the book said O'Shea, which I thought was interesting.
I thought it was OSHA.
It is. And the
Okay.
pronunciation was like O'Shea.
Okay, well, we know me and we know pronunciation, so it's Osha
Okay,
in
and
my
I also
head.
think OSHA like the medical OSHA.
Oh.
Oh,
And so that like I
No.
I don't know. Didn't matter.
I loved that. I did love that. That was very sweet, and he called her that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Now
That
I'm
was
not
sweet.
saying I'm 100% anti-Kingfisher.
Maybe he'll have more redemption in the next
I
book,
am
too.
just saying that I hated him in the beginning, but now at the end, I am open to a Kingfisher redemption. I just don't see why all the TikTok girls are going feral for him in this book specifically.
When we should be going feral.
Carrion
Swift.
Swift. I'm
Team
just
Carrion
saying,
all the way.
I should not love the side character more than the main
No,
character.
But Riddick
he
is a little bit
made
above
me
Zeta.
laugh
Not in the first
the
book.
whole
No,
time.
I know.
I thought he was gonna be kind of douchey whenever
Yeah,
she
me too.
first saw him in that like.
Oh, I
mistress
hated him at
place. Like,
first.
I did
I
too.
do too.
And it's funny because I had seen everyone loves him, and I was like, why are they liking this guy?
Well,
He's
then when
horrible.
he accidentally brought him into the
That was
Quicksilver,
the literal
I was like,
funniest.
what? Carrion?
And it's because he smelled her on him. And I was like, my gosh.
I don't
funny.
like verbally laugh when I'm reading very often.
I
and
was
I
laughing.
cracked up at that.
I
That
was
so
cracking up
funny.
the whole book when he named his sword Simon. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I was laughing so hard when he was describing the bath that they gave him after he came back.
I was
right? Touching him.
That was really funny
They
too.
paid particular attention to my down there area. And I was like, well, I wonder why. It's because they smelled like Saris.
And the whole time, Saris was like, and you let them? She's concerned for
And then it clicked why they did that.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious.
That was
he
so funny.
and him and his plant that he had to bring. I don't know. I love everything
Oh,
about
my
Carrion
God.
Swift.
I do too.
And then the whole plot bomb of him being
Faye? Not even Faye. Like a royal Faye.
Royal Faye.
Okay,
who killed Malcolm.
The last plot bomb with her becoming the queen was crazy.
What? Yes.
But the Carrion one was even more mind blowing to me.
That might
Yeah.
have been my favorite plot twist.
Oh my
that I
gosh.
ever read.
It was,
because
I was not expecting it.
No.
No inkling at all.
And for him to know, it wasn't even like he
yeah,
was like
he knew he was intentional.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, thinking about it, like that's probably one of my favorite plot bombs ever. The fact that we were like, "Ooh, who's Carrion? Why is he?" Is this side plot? Loving him, and then being like, "Oh my gosh, you were the reason that we have been able to move past Malcolm and kill
Right.
Malcolm."
You know what needs to happen? All these like interconnected standalone things. This should just be an interconnected standalone with the next book being Carrion.
Oh my gosh. That'd be
Like
great.
we've had enough of this story. But Carrion,
We need
I will
more
say
Carrion.
another massive plot bomb was Madra, Malcolm, and Bellicon working together
yeah, and being, weren't they siblings?
in a
I think
weird
that they were
way.
not
Weird,
real siblings, but like
magical way.
magical siblings.
When that happened, I was like, "Wait,
Uh-huh.
what?"
Yeah,
What about Carrion and Everlane getting?
Oh,
that would be so cute.
I love that.
Okay, when they found
be
her,
so
when they saw her
fun.
across, like with Malcolm,
Yes.
were you expecting her to be bad at first?
I thought her and Ren had something. I thought they were a thing.
Oh,
I kind of picked up on that just in the way they interacted with
Yeah,
each
it
other
might have
because
been.
they've been together this whole time while
Yeah.
Fisher's been exiled, essentially.
Yeah.
I thought they were a thing.
They could have
Yeah, that
been
would make sense.
for
So,
sure.
but it never was very open. But the
No.
way it described her, I remember reading it and Sarah's talking about how he responded when they saw Everlane across.
Yeah.
And it seemed very territorial, like my person.
Oh, so maybe they will be something.
oh yeah.
So
I
who
can
would
see that.
Carrion be with?
Maybe someone we haven't met
Danya?
yet.
Oh my God.
Oh, he did say that she was
Yeah.
hot, and he liked fiery
She said
women.
that to him, too.
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
about him.
That could be. He said he liked women,
And now
who,
that he's like Royal
yeah.
Faye.
Oh yeah,
Because
probably be like,
he was like
"Ooh."
just a human.
he would be worthy of her then.
She
hated
got
her.
I
on
did
my
not like her
nerves.
very much.
Maybe she'll be like a Nesta.
I
and,
loved
like,
when Sarah just split her sword. Loved that.
That was great.
Mhm.
She
And
deserved
also, that was like, very BA. Like
It
she,
was.
it just like went.
I will say the Quicksilver was probably one of the most unique things I've seen.
literally what I said. Magic system so unique.
Yeah,
And
it was.
what we saw at the end, the gods, like was that them talking the whole time?
Yeah, I think so.
Because she talked
The
about
twins were in the Quicksilver.
Is that
Yeah.
not cool?
Yeah.
And when they were like, "We
true.
want to meet you," and then she ended up meeting
up there. I
the
forgot
god.
about
That was probably one of my favorite
that
parts
was so
because
fun.
I've never read a fantasy book where it's always talking about the gods, and then they meet them.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool. And also, I thought it was cool that he was like, you were always supposed to be born Fae, and y'all were supposed to be mates.
Yeah.
Like their connection was so strong. He wanted to see if they could find each other. Being
Yeah,
in
and
different
he
worlds.
put her in a different world that she could never make it out of, and she made it out. And,
he
And they
watched
still
them
ended up
as
together.
they intertwined.
yeah,
It is
which I
crazy.
think mates is very overdone at this point.
I think it's stupid, personally.
but I think that was cool that he made it like an obstacle to see if they could get there, and then they got there. Like, that was different.
Yeah.
I do think that the end was kind of a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the next book.
Oh yeah.
With the dying parts of the tree. And he's like, if I send you back, you're no longer going to be able to be watched by the gods.
Yeah.
Now that she's half vampire, half fae, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
What's going to come about with the tree situation? What is that evil that's coming in to destroy?
I wonder what Kingfisher is going to say about her supposed to be fae and her not being watched over by the gods anymore, because she didn't tell him that by the end of the book. So he doesn't have any idea right now. I don't know.
That's interesting. So this is kind of just funny. We had in our fable, someone ask a really funny question. I figured we talk about. Someone said, "What do you think Archer looks like?" And I loved Archer. He was only there for a few pages, but I thought he was so fun.
Listen, one of the funniest parts of the book for me was after Cyrus and Kingfisher, you know, accepted the mating bond, or however you want to say it. He walked in with apple juice. He walked in with apple juice for her to get her energy up. And I was like, oh my God.
And then they were like, hanging around the fact of like what actually happened. And
I was just moving furniture, some the exercise. I don't know what she said, but he was like, oh, well, this is to replenish your energy. And I was like, he literally brought her an after snack while Kingfisher just walked up and left.
Yes. Well, also when he literally cried when Kingfisher came back the first time, I was like, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I love him.
Literally, Dobby.
I was thinking a red Dobby. Like,
no,
I
didn't.
He's a fire sprite, right? So I pictured a red Dobby.
Have y'all ever seen Elemental?
No.
No? Okay, well, my kids are obsessed with that movie. And it's literally a fire sprite is in there. And he was wearing clothes, but he's like this flame. It's a little flame with a body, and the head is a flame. And that's kind of what I saw. But I just, this kind of seems like a dark book, so I just imagined it being a black skeleton with a flame on its head.
Oh.
If I'm not thinking Dobby, the other thing I've thought of, what's that movie with the emotions?
Oh,
Inside Out?
Yes, the red guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's kind of what it's kind of like, but on an actual body.
Between him and the fox.
Oh, I loved
loved
Onyx.
the fox.
I did love the
Onyx
fox.
too.
I did.
That was
But
precious.
I don't know if y'all noticed. There's like certain words in all of these fantasy books. Onyx is in every single
Every
one.
fantasy book.
Quicksilver is too.
Is it?
Brimstone was in the book that I am reading right now, and I was like, well, that's funny because that's the new book. There's like the same words. I'm like, y'all gotta be a little more creative.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like there's a lot of interconnected words, which I think is another thing I saw on the reviews, is they were like, come up with some original content. But I was like, I feel like this was pretty original. I feel like I would have liked it a lot more had Kingfisher not been such a douche canoe in the beginning.
I think the intro was very basic.
Yeah.
In terms of world building. But I think by the end, it was unique.
I think I just needed a book that's not the same thing. I'm reading Anathema right now, and it's literally a girl in the mortal world gets pulled through a portal, and now she's in a I don't know what kind of world.
In
and
Dreamwalker, the book I'm reading,
Quicksilver.
in Dreamwalker, she literally just got pulled through a portal. Like literally.
So, like, I think I've read this before.
I think I've seen this.
Absolutely, Taylor.
So I don't know. I just want something original. I've heard Metal Slinger is really original. So that might be one of my
I'm very
next reads.
excited to read that one.
Same.
As well.
So what do y'all think is going to happen now for Madra and the King? Because Malcolm is supposedly dead.
I think the next book is going to be tearing down the barrier between the worlds.
Tearing down the
Rid of the one that
triumvirate.
Madra's in.
The mortal
Realm. World. Not
Can you tear
killing
that
all those
apart,
people,
though?
but just her whole system and the water rations.
Yeah.
That part was interesting to me, and I was like, that's horrible. I don't know. There's some magic that she's using that's definitely making her more immortal.
It was interesting that they alluded at the beginning to her being immortal without saying it. I'm like, okay, that's a little obvious. She's probably Fae,
I'm interested to see, though, because I do think Malcolm might have been the most powerful of all the three.
Probably. Does he come back?
No, I don't think so. I think either
Now that she's queen, I guess it doesn't make sense for him to come back.
Yeah, which
unless
was
he comes back.
Wild to
And they're
me.
living in vampire land now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because
that's interesting. Yeah, so that's crazy.
I normally hate vampire stuff, but I did like how it was basically like a tiered system, like mortals, fae, vampires, which was kind of cool. It's essentially the same people that have gone to different levels, basically. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And then they die and come back as vampires, and
yeah,
it's weird. but it's cool. It's different.
Yeah,
the people
that was
trapped there because of that bed. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Spice level.
I honestly listen.
Y'all,
I'm
I
dead.
got the ick so hard.
Yeah, that one that
Nectar.
the nectar.
What?
You don't
Oh.
remember that? He was like, I want to drink that sweet nectar for me.
Stop.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that was a little gross.
I don't remember that.
It was like a fourth of the way through.
Yeah, that's what. It's not slow burn. Again, it was not slow burn.
It was not a slow burn, and it was very
Descriptive.
Yeah. Not cutesy love.
No, it was very like, I'm gonna lay you down and choke you.
Yeah.
And I think also that might have something to do with why people like him, is because he's a little bit darker
Yeah.
than the other
that's why I
ones we've
didn't
read
like him.
about. I honestly don't mind
think
that.
that's
That's not what bothered me. What bothered me was just how much of a douche he was. I just cannot get past that in my head. I'm trying so hard.
I do like the idea of the mating bond and how it was a God binding. So it was unique, and it was something that they said is only told in stories.
Yeah.
Because that shows the strength.
Because
of their
one of them
connection.
dies.
We're not going to talk about that. But because of the strength of their connection, even though she was supposed to be Fae, just the uniqueness of that, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
I did think that was fun. I honestly, there was only a couple of scenes though, so I didn't think it was like
I gave it a
that
4,
spicy.
just because of the language of it when it did happen.
It did. I would give it about a 3.
He was like, I give it a 7.
Yeah, but I don't like 2s. It's fine.
Katarina would
I just
prefer,
skip a lot. It's funny. We talked about before the throne scene in Iron Flame. I literally didn't even know that. Like, we were at, you remember that? We were at Books a Million, and you were like, the throne scene. I was like, what throne scene?
I was
The
like,
throne scene. I'm like, I read the
yeah.
book twice. I don't know what you're talking about.
So did you skip the chair scene in Onyx Storm?
Yeah. And then I
Do you
kept
know what I'm
seeing on
talking about
TikTok.
then?
Yes, I do, because I've
Listen,
seen on TikTok
Brandon
people
started
trying
talking to me
are
about
the
the
funniest
They are hilarious.
thing.
Brandon said he's seen the TikToks and he's like, what is the chair scene? And I'm like,
Stop.
I didn't read it. I don't know.
it is
just seen
nothing
the
that you
TikToks.
need to concern yourself with, sir. It is absolutely
not.
nothing.
Yeah.
But
So
the
apparently there's a
TikToks of
throne
them-
scene.
It's so funny.
They're
There's
like, wait. I know what they're doing.
no, I'll tell you what was happening. It was the shadows. It was not anything else.
No. There was not a scene. Wait, was there a scene like that in this? Did you skip all the ones?
Yeah, pretty much. Once
I
they
don't
said the
think-
nectar thing, I was like, I am done. And she is known for writing like this is her first fantasy.
Oh.
All of her other
I've
stuff is
literally
like
never read anything from her.
Me either.
really spicy. Right? I haven't either. But like if you look on her Goodreads, it's like all those like really spicy books.
Listen, Goodreads is
So-
out to get everybody on their raunchiest book covers that ever exist.
Yeah.
Because I read a book that was like cutesy hockey romance, and that's not what the picture looked like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ugh.
It's literally
I
like
would've
another
never picked
pumpkin
this up in
spice
Walmart.
cafe over
Yeah.
here.
I would have never picked it up in Walmart with the book cover that's on Goodreads.
Yeah, no, she's known for very,
Riot House.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Wait, look at this book cover. Stop. Why are they all lockers?
See?
Oh my gosh.
So I
Okay.
had seen
Callie,
her-
what you doing, girl?
I saw all of her stuff and I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be. So as soon as they said nectar, I said, pass.
Well, honestly, by looking at that, I don't think it was as spicy as it could have been then.
that is true.
I don't think it was as
Oh,
spicy
I read
as
this
it could
wrong.
have been.
Oh, intended for readers 17 and older.
Yeah.
This one comes with a trigger warning.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
Lord.
I'm good.
Do y'all want to read
That's-
some 1-star reviews?
Yeah.
Yes, please. I
Let's
wrote down
see.
one that made me laugh out loud. It said, I'm convinced everyone is held at gunpoint rating this 5 stars.
Mine says, am I reading the same book as everybody else? Have standards for romantasy dropped so low that all a book needs is a shadow daddy and explicit content to call it good nowadays? And I could not agree more.
Yeah. FOMO is a disease.
That's good.
Honestly, I was more interested in the FMC's ex than the love interest. Yes, Carrie and Swift. We were more
Yeah.
interested in you. Thank
But was
you.
he really an ex? He was not an ex.
Well,
He was
they-
totally not an
He was
ex.
just like a one-night stand.
Yeah.
This one said, this is terrible. There's no way anyone with a developed prefrontal cortex can enjoy this unless you're into dumb dialogues and either dumb MCs. This is interesting because she said, don't get me wrong, the start is great.
Oh.
The idea in the world in which this is set in is actually quite interesting, but as with many books in the genre, our independent, self-sufficient, and strong FMC turns into a useless buffoon when she meets her eventual love interest.
accurate.
I did love the magic system. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
I love the magic system and I love the end. It's just everything else.
Yeah, when I first started reading, I was like, what do they do with an alchemist? Like, what is, like, and she took it a lot of different ways. It was cool.
I loved the magic system.
Yeah, I did too.
Like with the silver and how it talked to her. And when it was in different pieces, there were different voices. I thought that was so cool.
Okay, and we didn't talk about the fact that song that Laura did,
and it got taken away.
Yes,
because
that
she
was so fun.
gave it to them.
I read it at first and I was like, why don't they remember? And then it clicked and I was like, oh my god.
Well,
Yeah,
it made
'cause it
sense
was
because
just
the
for-
whole time when she made that
Blood oath.
blood oath, that's what it is. So like when he made that, he was like, you have to watch what you agree to.
Right.
And then she did it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, when are you not going to learn? Like, you have to be careful with the way that you say things.
Yeah. I think she can go a lot of different ways with the Quicksilver needing something. That could be a really cool, I don't know.
And when they wanted to hear Carrion's jokes, you know that was the twins.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
That was so funny.
It was like Riddick getting his dragon.
Yes.
Simon is
Yes.
carrying his dragon.
That is so
That is
funny.
so cute.
Well, that one was a good one.
There
Hopefully
were
the
a
next
lot of
one's
people
better.
in the reflection that liked it.
On Fable.
On
in our book
Fable.
club.
Britt said that she absolutely loved this book and can't wait for the next one. I went to this blind, so I was pleasantly surprised at how much I loved it. If I knew about Kingfisher ahead of time, I probably would have been disappointed.
Yes.
Which I thought
I
was a
feel
good
that.
review of that book, because I do think when
have
you
so
talk
much-
about the hype level of this book,
And of him.
very
overhyped.
overhyped. Very overhyped.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say appropriately or underhyped. I don't know. If I had have went into it blind, like Britt said,
I would have
I would have
loved,
loved
it.
it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was just, very overhyped. Kingfisher is probably one of the most overhyped fantasy men
And
that
I
I've ever
think
read
People are
about.
like, he's number one. I'm like,
Absolutely
you can't-
not.
You can't beat
And I
Zayden,
think
first
people
of all.
like, if you're coming off of Onyx Storm and you're a zaddy lover, don't have that same intention with Quicksilver. Like,
No.
go into it without thinking that they're going to be the same person, because they're not.
There's about 50% of the way in that I put in the Fable. I was like, he's giving me Zayden vibes, but it just never fully got there.
No, he never once gave
I
me
think
Zayden
he was
vibes.
Zayden wannabe.
Yeah.
Poser. Zayden.
Huzzah. Yeah.
But so we are going to start a new segment at the end of our book club episode where we each have personalized TBRs made by the other two. And that's another book that we're going to read this month, and then come back and discuss how
if we
felt.
liked it, because we handpicked them for each other. There's Mackenzie's and Katarina's.
All right. Mackenzie's going first.
We open these. Yeah.
So these were picked by us that we think that she would like.
Yeah, I picked some that I just wanted y'all to read. Just the FYI.
We've decided that you're the hardest to pick.
Oh
for,
my
though,
gosh.
Kaylee.
You're two genres.
Like, Katarina will read anything and everything.
I like fantasy and romance. That's not that bad.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of
two
books
genres.
in that.
One True Loves.
Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's the one about the the husband goes missing and she remarries.
Oh.
You'll like it.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting. All right.
One True Loves.
Oh
I'm excited.
gosh, this is Kaylee's.
I'm nervous.
You ready? Oh my god.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Powerless by Elsie Silver.
Yes! Yes!
We were just talking about this.
so
the other night.
excited! I told you I was going to get you to read that book.
have it?
I have it. I will bring it to you
Lovely.
tomorrow.
I love that.
Oh my god, that makes me so happy. Well, at least it wasn't the vampire one.
Yeah.
I have been and we're going to the hockey game tomorrow. I have been trying so hard to get her to read a hockey romance.
This is hockey?
Yes.
Oh my god.
But it's the best friends, the lovers one that I told you I thought you'd like.
Do you have to read them in order?
No. They're interconnected standalones. Okay. Let's see which one I got. Things We Never Got Over.
You know who that is? Knock 'em Out series, Lucy Score.
No, I think I have this one.
Oh, perfect.
I might have this one.
It's
at my
really,
house.
really good.
Is it the blue cover?
Yes.
I have this one at my
Oh,
house.
nice. It's really good. You'll
Okay.
like it.
Well, you just saved me from putting that one in my TBR drawer.
I think you'll like it. It's
I think
long,
I like it too. I like Lucy Score.
but
so
it's really good. I like the characters. So.
that's fun.
Fun.
I'm excited.
Fun.
I wonder if this is
Alright.
on Kindle.
Well, make sure you add us
don't know.
on our Fable app so we can read Binding 13 together.
Give us a 5-star rating. That helps us a ton.
Yeah.
And
We will see you next week.